Interesting. It's true that you've responded to my arguments, point by point, but you don't use a word synonymous to annihilate or brutalize, like you have with the amazing atheist and Thunderfoot. In fact, by saying you've responded, you've done nothing more than note that you've addressed my points. And sorry if I seemed flustered. I was attempting to read off about 2.5 pages of text at a pace that would shame Sonic the Hedgehog, in an attempt to fit as much content into my videos in the least amount of time. Your response almost seems to imply that you've got me on the ropes. Why do you think that? But let's get on with this. This is impressive. You have demonstrated what I thought was almost impossible ignorance. I linked with an annotation to the exact section I was referring to in your video, and I even said I linked with an annotation. It's ironic that someone analyzing my videos and claiming that I hadn't watched them would make such a mistake. Here's the clip I was talking about.
Now I'm going to read some comments from fans of the expert that actually watched my videos, and let's see the difference. Just feeling kind of embarrassed that I was the one who rated you very low before I watched the whole video. Watched more of your videos, and you definitely are better than my first opinion. This is addressed to the expert. You got schooled in my opinion. How the world works changed my...
About DDT, I trust completely that people would use DDT to kill mosquitoes. I realize the benefits and drawbacks of DDT, and I also realize that without strict regulation, spraying poison around can be a real problem to not only the people, but their children, their children's children, and the environment around them. The final statement merely reflects opinion. I have presented my side of the argument. You have not presented anything new, probably because you don't feel the need to. I leave this to the audience to decide who did a better job. Your comment on atrazine seems, well, stupid. Sorry, but you didn't even do anything. You say I want to limit the needs of an entire industry of another country? What I propose is simply using other chemicals than atrazine. Don't bring up the benefit for humanity crap here. Humanity and agriculture can function fine without it. It is an industry interested in making an illegal product in many parts of the world because we realize there are better alternatives. Your pursuit of this case befuddles me. Your depiction of environmentalists is completely biased, and apparently your definition of environmentalist would include people who are interested in sending us back to the Stone Age and completely ignoring all technological advancements. What of hybrid vehicles, hydrogen fuel cells, alternative energy sources, and many other eco-friendly themed advancements? Would you at least agree it's beneficial to pursue ventures such as these to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels and gasoline? Why are you so opposed to change? As for DDT and atheistic comment, you fail to acknowledge that your original comment regarded native culture. I maintain I don't see the link from environmentalist to native culture. I understand your logic in making such a link, but I feel it is flawed. If we killed everyone in... Honestly, yes. Am I proposing that? Of course not! I can't believe some of the stuff you put in this response. You're failing to address my points. Indeed, it seems this video is more focused on attempting to make my person look intimidated, flustered, unprepared, and unprofessional, though I do not claim professionalism on the issues I am talking about. What I suggested is pursuing alternative methods of transport. I bring up the air-powered car because you don't even need to leave the company to find potential alternatives to the Nano. What of electric-powered cars? And hydrogen-powered cars? I personally see much of the transportation future in Iceland, a general hub for research and development of hydrogen energy. I already went over this with the alternative transportation comment, so I'll leave it at that. It is true, I don't have any evidence. Upon further examination of your video, I see you never actually acknowledged that it was your subscribers who flagged Thunderfoot's video. It was my insight that the most likely candidates for flagging his video was your subscribers. I am quite happy to acknowledge this is my first major blunder. I retract my statement that you shrugged off new subscribers. There is no evidence or justification for the statement. It was a mistake on my part of interpretation. The suggestion that by using the term creationist is a method of invoking unjust one-starring and hate mail is still unjustified. Indeed, the only thing Thunderfoot said was that they were not worth the people's time. Would this not suggest that he would rather people not pay you any attention? And to link that because I have said you share qualities with them means I also feel you are not worth people's time is unjustified. I am not Thunderfoot. Everyone's opinion is valid to be heard. It can be demonstrably wrong, stupid, unjust, racist, sexist, and spiteful, but it should still be given the time and consideration to allow the person to finish stating their arguments before responding to them and critiquing them. I am not here to psychoanalyze Thunderfoot, and indeed it shows he has a particular distaste for you. However, I still fail to see justification that he would go against his policies and promote hate mail or one-starring of your videos. Ah yes, universities are churning out enviro nitwits faster than anyone else in the world. Curse those facilities of education and their general greater understanding and insight. However, to imply I am an environmentalist because of my education would be wrong. It is true that it certainly informed me of actual statistics and effects, processes, and the science behind why something we may have deemed unimportant is important. But my reasons are my own, and I'm sorry if I see ourselves as a species living on this planet and not ruling over it. I'm sorry if I promote seeking win-win situations instead of selfishly plowing on ahead, not caring what you're crushing underfoot. And the notion that I did not expect a response does not mean that I was not hoping for one. This was a message to you, and was not intended to be sneaking around behind your back, bad-mouthing you like a coward. And here is a message in regards to some of the comments I have received from you and from fellow YouTubers. I'd like to actually thank R.W. Jones AIC in particular for showing legitimate concern into what I'm about to address, and I'd like to read a reply I sent to him from one of his PMs to me. Not for a single moment do I feel I am ever informed enough on an issue to definitively provide rational input into it. I don't claim and have never claimed to have expertise in any particular subject. I understand where this concern is coming from, but if you'll analyze what I've said, never do I say we shouldn't, or it's wrong to, or anything of the sort. I make it clear that these are merely my opinions. Hopefully, before it's brought up, I address the notions that what I am presenting is nowhere near the entire story behind the matter, and I am happy to add any disclaimers afterwards when it is pointed out. Part of the reason I'm doing this is because I feel How the World Works legitimately thinks he is informed enough to make decisions on issues like the ones he addresses. Not to suggest infallibility, but rather he feels he is informed enough to make the best decision available. The next video I put up will probably address this entire conversation in general to illustrate the point that 1. I do not have any expertise in these subjects. My knowledge and claims simply comes from research I've done on the subject and the scientific literature pertaining to it. 2. I recognize that what I am presenting is most certainly not the entire issue, nor is it all that must be taken into account when discussing matters such as these. 3. It is important to approach everything both I and How the World Works say with utmost skepticism, a practice I would endorse for most anyone on YouTube. Do not mistake this as no one on YouTube can ever be right. The purpose of what I am saying is that YouTube is not a peer-reviewed forum. Loads of claims are made every day that are statistically or categorically wrong. When learning about issues, it can be insightful to visit education channels on YouTube, but whenever insight or opinion is offered, it is important to research outside the source to verify the logic and rationality before reaching a decision. This is a message to How the World Works. I hope from this video my motives can become a little clearer. People regard you as a source of information, and eat up your insight into the subject as if it is fact. You would have to be incredibly big-headed to say that you yourself have insight in which the best educated people on the planet have missed. To the audience, I don't doubt How the World Works will put up a video in response to this as well, probably quite quickly. However, I will not have time to address it for some time. I ask everyone to analyze the points he may bring up and determine if they are valid. I would like to thank everyone who has recently subscribed to me. It's nice to see. To all, peace.